Math 043, literal equation examples. So when we do literal equations, what we're doing is we're solving an equation for a specific or given variable. In example 1, we're going to solve the equation A equals BH, our area formula, for the variable H. To do that, I'm going to divide both sides by the variable B. That way they will divide out and the H will be by itself on the right hand side. So we'd have A over B equals H. Now normally when we write these, we like the isolated or the variable we solve for to be on the left hand side. So I'm going to rewrite this as H equals A over B. So let's look at example 2. For example 2, we're going to solve for y. We have 2x minus y equals 14. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract on both sides by 2x. And the reason I'm subtracting is because that 2x is a positive value. Even though it's got a minus after it, the 2 is positive. And we cannot combine the 2 and the 14 because they both don't have a variable. So on the left-hand side, those will cancel out, and I'll be left with negative y equals, and I like to put my variable first, so negative 2x plus 14. Now that y is still not by itself, so it has a negative with it. So I'm going to need to get rid of that negative. To do that, I'm going to divide everything by a negative 1. When I mean everything, I mean each term. So when I divide, I would have y equals 2x minus 14, because dividing everything by negative is going to change all of the signs for our values. All right, let's look at example 3. We have our perimeter formula for a rectangle, P equals 2L plus 2W. In this case, we are trying to get that W by itself. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the 2L, and to do that I'm going to subtract it on both sides. We cannot combine the 2L and the P. Again, they are different variables. So I would have P minus 2L equals 2W. Okay, so I still need to get the W isolated. It means it can't have a constant. So I'm going to divide everything by 2. Now in this case, I'm going to group that and have one polynomial in my top. You can split it up and we'll look at that in a minute. So I would have P minus 2L over 2 equals W. Again, if we write that with our variable on the left-hand side, we'd have W equals P minus 2L over 2. Now, like I said, we could split that up. We could write that as W equals P over 2 minus 2L over 2. If we do that, we're going to need to simplify that second fraction. So if we simplify that, we would have W equals P over 2 minus L, because 2 over 2 would divide out. So you could have either that first equation, W equals P minus 2L over 2, or the last one, W equals P over 2 minus L. It doesn't matter which one you have, just as long as everything's simplified correctly. Also make sure you keep your upper and lower case the same. So if it starts as an uppercase P, it has to stay that way. You can't change it to a lowercase. Okay, let's look at example 4. For example 4, we're solving for r. We have the formula A equals pi r squared. That's a formula for the area of a circle. So if we're solving for that r value, the first thing I'm going to get rid of is our pi value. And we're not going to change that to a number or a fraction. we're going to leave it as the variable. So I'm going to divide both sides by pi. So we would have a over pi equals r squared. Okay, because those pi values would cancel on our right hand side. So now to get that r by itself, because it's still squared, we would need to take the square root of both sides. So if we do that, then we would have the square root of a over pi equals r. So if we wrote that with the r on the left hand side, we'd have r equals the square root of a over pi for our answer.